This absolutely makes zero sense. Welcome back, everyone, for another tour. Today, we're doing a tour of the first floor. Now, this floor is really large, and both sides are connected, so I'm going to throw up a blueprint of the original floor plan. So I never thought I'd have to say this, but there's certain areas where none of the lights still work. So we're going to need a little flashlight. So we're going to start with the tour, and here we are in the breezeway again, and we're going to move into the main building.
Before we start in the main building, I just wanted to kind of show the entire layout of the entire ground floor here. It's kind of hard to tell here, but this building is actually relatively large in size. From, in this picture at least, from west to east is approximately 133 feet, and from north to south is approximately 95 feet. The main building spans about 45 feet wide. The front and rear sections are slightly offset by approximately 8 feet. So this is the floor we're going to be exploring today. We're going to be moving from the main entryway, then southbound into the office, and then going eastward and then back up north and making a complete loop around here. So let's start the tour.
So here we are looking into the main building, and this is probably the original entrance from when the addition was added on. So I'll put up an old picture of the old house.
The door in the center there, to the right of the tree, is the one we're looking at right now.
It does look like this was widened because I think the original was a single door. It is kind of weird how they added this electrical. It's just a massive conduit that just comes down here. And I think I've mentioned this before, like all these cloud wallpaper makes me feel like I'm in a mental institution. All right, let's move on. So first thing you'll notice is look at these door closers. They definitely don't make them like this anymore. These are massive. There's two of them. Russwin, if they're still alive, business-wise at least. And we have these kind of weird closets or cabinets. Instead of being hinged, if you see, they have this old mechanism that I guess has them slide outward. This seems less practical to me. I don't know why, because, you know, it's not opening in the center of the door, but all of them are like this here. So we have what seems to be a radiator at the bottom, and I'm not really quite sure if this works or not. I know the one in the hallway over there does not work real well. It has a light switch here, which does absolutely nothing. So I'm not really quite sure what that goes to. None of these light switches turn anything on. So nope, nothing. And then we have like this old dumbwaiter system, I guess, made by Hollinger Cabot, Boston. In, out, ASD, RMD, guess one. I'm not really sure what those stand for. And over here, you've seen before, this was our old simplex fire alarm system, which is now completely hollowed out, even though I didn't have to do that. But that's gone. We have a cabinet below. This is just plumbing. So I'm assuming this is plumbing for the heating and electrical, because the right one looks like electrical, and these two black pipes look like they're for plumbing, or at least the heating system. I'm not really quite sure. And also at the same time, there's no blueprints of where these pipes go through. So I'm assuming they go through the wall here, but does it just heat that one heater and the rest is subgrade? I'm not sure, because it'd be weird if it went through this way, then went up, over, and then down. But we'll never know. We have some water damage here, and we can start going towards the right first. So this door still has not been opened. So I think I'm going to do a mystery video of opening stuff that I've never seen open. So we'll see what happens there. But this was considered an office, if I recall correctly, on the original blueprint. Sorry, there's a lot of light bulbs in here. As you can see, we have a lot of cabinets in here. The original fire system is still there. That's the one I took out. So a lot of cabinetry, and relatively large too. A lot of filing to do. New here, packet materials. So I do really love the accents on the ceiling, like the crown molding, and the lighting actually points upward, which is really cool. I do really enjoy that. They really don't make them like this anymore. I'm assuming this outlet was for a clock, because I honestly can't see anything else being here. So we have another cabinet here and a nice reminder to tell you not to forget to close the windows. They did leave this whiteboard here, which is kind of cool because it's got a motor and it rotates. So you could write a bunch of notes and then scroll away and save them for later. I'm probably not going to use that, but still nonetheless kind of cool. We have a new toilet here, which I mistakenly bought. The other half is completely missing. I bought it at a return auction, so that explains why. So this is the front porch. And what's interesting is from here, this just looks like, oh, it's a window. But actually, these are two doors that they just put this window thing over. So it's hard to see. Maybe I'll be able to kind of open this, if this will open. You can see the handles outside to this door. And
Here's what it looks like from the outside, and you can see that cabinet they built right in front of it.
I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I'm probably going to just properly frame this and put two proper windows here unless it's needed. You can actually kind of see at the very top, there's a huge crack to allow air in too. So that's probably also not great. So same thing over here that's kind of weird is they basically knocked out the top half of this window and put an AC unit in. And the window's still there. On the outside, you just see an AC unit hanging out. And there's another old CRT here. And this wall is definitely not structural. They put this in later. And then there's another one on the other side as well. Here's some original blueprints of this floor. So we can come through here. This is the original front entrance to this house, I guess, when it was a house. And even though I don't think anyone used it, I think the driveway led to the other side and they used that. Here are some mailboxes. So I guess this is where they got mail when it was an office building. And here's a thermostat somebody kind of janked together. Oh, vacuum hoses here that just, goes to the other side of the door, which I will show real quick. It just goes to a thermostat. So I'm assuming that's what that vacuum pump is for. So this is the main hallway down the house. And I guess there used to be double doors here. You can see the hinges are still here. This side is exactly the same as the other side, except for it's subdivided into two smaller units. So very small. Once again, these are all small partitions. These walls do kind of remind me of a insane asylum, like one of those quiet rooms they put you in a straitjacket in. And here is that last room of the original front porch. So once again, these ceiling tiles are all falling down. I'm not sure if this is a moisture issue or, it doesn't look like water has been leaking through. So I think they're just old and crummy. And they left me a drop safe, which once again, I don't have the combination to. I don't know where this was. This thing is super heavy. This has to be at least like 150 pounds. It's actually, I think, surrounded in concrete. So it is surrounded in concrete. So it's not just the drop safe, but also the concrete. So that's kind of surprising. I'm imagining at some point in time, I'm going to just walk on the carpet and fall through the carpet because there's a hole where this used to be. This was called a playroom. And once again, it has that ceiling light, which is really cool. And this I thought would be a good living room because I don't know what else you could do with this. It's just weirdly laid out just because you have the fireplace on the long side. And like if you put a couch here, it's kind of like in the middle of the room that divides it. If you put a couch on either side here, it seems, like it's not a living room anymore. So, and I think I might remove that cabinet. I don't know yet. I think it doesn't go very well with the flow of the room. But once again, everything's up for debate just because we're so early into this project. I don't know what's going on at all. So here are the windows outside to the neighbor's house. So this is that side. And there are a lot of these cabinets, which pretty shallow, but still kind of functional. So, these could easily be converted into, let's say, built-ins. So you could have like a library here, bookshelves, stuff there. I think that would be nice. And then this cabinet slash counter is nice. It just, I think it's like out of place. Like if there's another one on the other side, I guess that would match, but it just feels very, very out of place. All right, so continuing into, this was another play area, but I would call this more or less like a breakfast nook because it's directly across from the kitchen. So, and it has this corner built in. Right there down the hallway, that is the dining room. So this was the room that I had that ball get thrown through my window. And the neighbors are like, oh, I never saw anything like that. Why would anything like that happen? It didn't come from our side. And I mean, clearly it's a straight shot down their driveway. So, I mean, I'm not accusing anyone, but I'm a man of science and it seems highly probable it came from down your driveway. So, but anyways, moving on from that, we do see a little bit of water damage down in the corner here, but I'm not sure if that's from roots or, you know, from above. We're not quite sure. I did measure the humidity of this and it wasn't bad. And yeah, these are all relatively new blinds, so nothing super interesting about that. All of the building has these French doors, which are kind of cool, but they all have like somewhat modern-ish deadbolts. And I don't have any, well, that's a lie. They gave me a massive box of keys, so I don't know if any of those keys actually go to any of these. So, I mean, I know some of them, they left the keys in the door, like this one. It's a skeleton key left on the door. So this is what I would have imagined to be an office. It is very dark. I do not know if these other lights turn on. We're gonna give it a shot. Oh, they do, perfect. So this is more or less like I would imagine an office that has this huge fireplace and all these wooden built-ins, which is cool. It does look like this used to be open. So you see there's a opening here. And actually this is very interesting too. There's a closet here behind this wall. And it looks like there's an entrance coming into here. So actually let's go look at that real quick before we get too carried away and I forget. So here's that hallway. And there's a closet here. I think this is a janitor's closet. Oh, yeah, it's like a janitor's closet. It's a sink, which is also odd, right in the middle of everything. Close that. And if you guys remember, this is the basement. That's the door to the basement. And we're back to the main entrance. So this was that closet in question. If you look at this closet, it looks like there was a door frame in the rear of this that at one point in time potentially led into that room, but it's all drywalled there now. So while we're here, we have a drinking fountain, a painting by Pissarro, which I've never heard of, and I'll close that. This is that hallway to that back office. And this is our dining room, which we'll come back to. It's full of crap, I know. This is our first floor half bath. And in the blueprints, there used to be another toilet there, which as you've seen, they've covered up, which is also a little bit weird, but there's a toilet in here and a sink. This might be nice to turn half of this into maybe, let's say, a laundry room. So that's maybe a consideration. And we're back into this area, which leads into this hallway into that room. And this, you can tell, used to have a door here too, because there's a switch. And that light doesn't turn on. So that's nice. So back into this room. So some cool things about this room. There's another one of these dumbwaiter systems, which is huge. I don't know if this was like to let people in, but look at this wiring. It is definitely very, very old. And in, out, maybe this was to allow people to come in and out. And it looks like this thing is just mechanical. It just swings back and forth. So on one side, you don't see it. And the other side, you see it. It has these kind of cool lights too. The tops of them are ships. I don't think all of them are like this, but this one in particular is ships in this building. This door leads to what they call that faculty lounge or dining area. I mean, to be honest, if you didn't have that door handle there, this would almost look like this would be a perfect like secret bookshelf hidden room. Over here, it's just shelving. So over here, it's pretty deep. It's just some shelving for books and stuff. We do have a gas fireplace. That's what it looks like. And they left a key to turn on the gas. This clock is hilarious. And the reason why I say it's hilarious is if you look, it actually fits pretty well. Actually, I just saw it bounce. Maybe the battery's like on its last leg. But at one point in time, this was like a really cool, old-timey, direct wire powered clock made by International Time Recording. And at some point in time, they're like, oh, this clock is broken. It would be cheaper just to buy like a random Timex clock that fits this hole, this window hole. And we'll just put it in there and no one will know the difference. And to be honest, it fits there pretty well. So, I mean, they did a good job. All right, let's go to the lounge. Oh, also, this room has outlets on the floor and, cables. So I'm assuming this was an office at some point. And you can kind of see like a silhouette of a desk that was here. So I think this was last used as some sort of office. This is that door that goes outside, which I think someone has attempted to air seal. But this is also kind of cool. Like, I don't know what this is. I guess this is to open the top half. You can open just the top half or, lock the both together. So I guess that's what that's for. And then there's another little latch here. Okay, that's kind of cool. And this was what I thought was a waiting room, but apparently like a teacher's lounge or like a food lounge, dining room, teacher's dining room. The wallpaper in here is also very depressing. It does not remind me of sanity, but here we are. We have a small clock up top, and then we have a bench which hides a radiator, I'm pretty sure, but also I guess used for seating. This carpet has seen better days. There is a lot of staining on this. This goes into the hallway. There's a small like bookshelf. I think the creepiest thing is this bathroom. So here's the bathroom. And if you look at it, it is minuscule. Like if you come in here, okay, well the ceiling is collapsing a bit. But look, the flushing portion is not even on top, it's on the side. And the light switch is inside. You have to come in here to turn on the light. But I guess, it's so small. Like this thing's probably like 2 feet wide. It doesn't really matter. When you're in there, you can touch all the walls if you wanted to. And then there's a hole in the ceiling for whatever reason. You do get a window though, which is nice. If I had to have a bathroom, window is nice. All right, let's move into the main rear hallway. Oh, if this door will open. There we go. A little stuck. So I guess there is a bit of mold on this wall. So here's some lighting. And none of that works. Not surprised. So this is our rear stairwell hallway. And there's our circuit breaker box over there. And if you look here, it looks like there used to be a door right here too. So it's interesting to see like how much has changed. But yeah, it looks like there's a door here. A lot of the paint's flaking. This is going upstairs. Another one of those dumbwaiter systems. Here is the rear entrance and what people called a milk delivery box. These windows also open outward, which is inward, which is also kind of strange. So people said this was like a milk delivery system, like in the early days. You'd open this. This is painted shut, so I'm gonna have to get a razor blade to cut this open. But let's go outside and check to see if there is a entrance. So here we are outside. And unfortunately on the outside, it looks like, oh no, there was. Look, there's hinges. They've just been solidly painted in. Are there hinges on the other side? No, there aren't. So this milk door just got the landlord special, and they just slathered everything right over it. So, okay, that's kind of interesting. All right, so we're back inside, and let's go take a tour of the kitchen. So we have a ceiling-mounted radiator with a chain. Oh, this is real seized. So that's not going to do anything. And here's our kitchen. Probably one of the things that I'm most excited about is this kitchen. It is like pretty large, weirdly laid out. That's I think that's the only downside is it's like really weirdly laid out. But this is going to sound super crazy. Where I currently live, I actually have to move all the groceries from like a block away almost, because where I have to park is behind the house in an alleyway. So I have to walk past my garage or the garage, a yard, and then I get to the house before I get to the kitchen. Here, what I'm excited about is if I have groceries, I just pull up right here, open this window, and bam, you could just let everything right in, right into the house. That's super awesome. So here is a industrial can opener, which was left here. It's kind of cool, made by Edland in Burlington. I do like the stainless steel countertops, even though like I don't know, that the breaks between the cabinets just doesn't feel very, I don't know. Maybe I'm just used to everything being connected, but since this is broken up, it just feels weird. There's also 2 light boxes on the wall there that don't work. And obviously the ceiling is flaking, but that's from some other reason. I have no clue. And then the cool part is this stove, which I'm pretty sure one of these ovens doesn't work. That's why the handle's taped. But it has a stove, a griddle, and I don't know if that's for pizzas in that little slot there or just storage, but it is really cool. And it's got this 6-burner with the lead paint special on top of it. And it does have a vacuum extractor, but I think it needs to be replaced because it's super loud and makes like, oh, I'll just turn it on. It sounds like a meat grinder. So yeah, but this is a cool stove. This, I don't know what to do with. I think I have to patch this up because this is an original incinerator. So it is made by Kennerator. There's an ant. Kennerator. Garbage must be thoroughly drained and wrapped in paper. All cans, bottles, paper, bags, other household waste must be deposited to ensure successful operation. Okay. So that's incinerator, which I'm definitely not using. This is a fire blanket, and either it's made by a company called Approved, or it's been approved, but it's a mystery who approved it. So pull wire handle, blanket will fall out. I'm not gonna do it. There's a blanket in there. I'm not gonna do it. They left me this coffee maker and piece of crumpled up paper, which could be potentially biohazardous. They left me a bunch of mugs too, so that's cool. Here are some cabinets. These original cabinets I might keep, but it just doesn't seem super practical. They left me a bunch of sterno pieces. That's cool. It just doesn't seem super practical. But I mean, honestly, I would rather have another fridge here. But we do have a massive fridge, which also questionable if I'm going to use. Here's our freezer. And this is our first pantry on the right here. So here's that massive fridge, which I have off for the moment. But I mean, it does work. It does get cold. And then we have these shallow pantry cabinets, I guess, here. And then we have these, which are weird because they pull out like this. And I think like trash bins must have been in here because there's a bunch of stains and a bunch of ant traps everywhere. So all of them are like this. They're like these bins. And oh, this one doesn't open. I guess, after you have the trash in here, you can just open the window and just throw it out the window. So and then, I mean, obviously you still have to get it out the window, but. All right, here is the dishwasher section. So you have this swinging door, which is kind of cool. More cabinets. One of these is a fire hose. I'm not sure which. I think it's this one. This one might be the fire hose. Yeah, there you go. So there's a fire hose in here. I think that was probably standard and required. And over here we have, I guess this is a second pantry or where they store the dishes. So you see here's that area they store the dishes. This is a old dishwasher. So you have the rinse nozzle here right on the wall, your stainless steel sink. You do have your 2 outlets for something. I'm not really quite sure what those outlets would be for. We have a pressure gauge for the wash and the rinse, stainless steel trays, and here's our dishwasher. So this, I guess you just put this down, lock it, turn it on, and then I guess it would come out this way. You would load it from that side because this side opens too. This side, oh, not with this locked, obviously. This side opens, you'd load it in this side, close it, wash it, and then it would come clean out the back side here, and then you'd slide it out. I don't know if that's operational anymore. And the sad part is I really do like this counter. It's just that this dishwasher is actually built into this counter. So unless I do some welding or make something to replace this, I don't know if I can keep this counter without, after getting rid of this. And I think this is really cute. This looks like a photocopy of dishwasher instructions that one of the kids here wrote. I'm sure whoever wrote this is probably now, much, much older now, but, I just think that's really cool. All right, so now to the dining room. And this is one of my favorite things, the dining room. And ignore the mess. So me and one of my friends have gotten into this situation where we love buying Amazon return stuff. And we keep on getting burned, but we're just like, you know what, this is cool. And they're really cheap, so why not? So all of this stuff is like discounted Amazon return stuff. Like some of these are tables. Some of these are, coffee tables. Some of these are chairs. Some of them are mirrors. But I mean, it's so cheap. Like, you're talking probably like a mirror that's $100, you'd get it for like $10. And at that point in time, it's like, even if it's broken, take the gamble. But this is a very, very cool dining room. It's very large. It has all these lights. I guess someone to save power, they only put one bulb in each one of these. Has a nice big ceiling fan. And it does have a fireplace that has, been boarded up. And you have your double doors over here, and there's a bathroom. So this is actually a really good size. Like you could have a really large dining room table in here, have friends over. One of the neighbors actually came down and he was telling me, oh, you know what? You should host murder mysteries. And, he's like, you don't even have to do any of the work. I'll set it all up. I thought that was really funny. That basically takes us back to the front of the first floor. And that's basically the entire floor. There's really not too much else to elaborate. Oh, there's one thing I wanted to elaborate about, which is driving me nuts. I don't know who wired this house, and God bless their soul, but it is horribly wired. So this switch over here does nothing. This switch turns off the light above us. But then what does this switch do? Nothing. But what if the light's on? What does this switch do? Oh, it turns off the lights. Oh, what about this one? Does nothing. These two switches are wired together. These two switches both have to be flipped up for the hallway lights to turn on. If one of these switches is off, the hallway lights are off. If both of them are off, obviously the hallway lights are off as well. But it doesn't matter. Both of these have to be flipped up for the hallway lights to be on. So my question is, why? 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 And on top of that, we have a bunch of blanks everywhere where I guess switches used to be, and they're no longer functioning. So we have blanks there, we have blanks there. There's just blanks everywhere, and some of them are blanked out in the actual the wall plate too. So you see, there's a blank here, and you could feel the hole that used to be here. They just put wallpaper over it. Actually, you can see someone poked it too with a pin of some sort. So yeah, there's nothing here. So I don't know what's going on. And here's that whole house vac, another outlet or inlet, I should say, for the whole house vac. Yeah, it's a work in progress. But that's basically the tour of our first floor. I don't really know what to say because there's just a lot of things in here that are just very baffling to me. Why was this done this way? I mean, I actually totally even missed this, but this room doesn't have a door. It's just a magnetic curtain. So that's nice. So that's something that probably has to be also replaced. But it's just there's a lot of stuff that's why would you do it this way? I don't know. I didn't live during that time period. I don't know the situation of what needed to be done and how fast it needed to be done. So I really can't comment on that. But I feel like there was a better way probably to do some of these things, especially this switch over here. So unless that was a complete mistake, they had a journeyman come in and, he had no idea what he was doing. And, but anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode. And it is, it's very difficult to tell, but it's 90 degrees in here and I'm sweating. I'm sweating a lot. So I'm going to probably get a shower, get back to work, and I will see you next week. Thanks for watching.